Hi, everyone. It's Sunday evening. You know what that means. It's time for Region Weather Live. I'm meteorologist Matt Wentz. Lots to talk about tonight in terms of our storm system that we have approaching this week. If you remember last couple posts, we've been talking about not just the potential for some severe weather down to the south, but we could get some thunderstorm action from this. And also, we're going to talk a big warm up this week. I know we're all itching for it. It's just been so cold over the weekend. This cold's been pretty rare for this time of year as well. I was doing some digging in terms of stats. So we'll talk about that warm up, our thunderstorm potential this week, and then what happens on the backside of that system. All that in this Sunday evening edition of Region Weather Live. Heather, I don't want to jump the gun on this, all right? But yes, I'm going to say warm weather this week. Hi there, Ann. Hi, Jeff. Good evening to you, Kimberly. Hi, David. Thanks for joining us. I hope you guys had a nice weekend. Listen, I know it was obviously cold. I know we had the lake effect snow, which we finally said goodbye to, even out towards South Bend where it was happening last. But I hope you found a way to kind of enjoy one of those last, perhaps winterisk days that we have, because it certainly felt like that this weekend. I don't think we're going to get this cold again this spring, which is good news. I was going back through time looking at some of the numbers, and we're beyond the time when we should have high temperatures in the 20s. That's usually reserved for earlier in the month. And only 2 out of the last 40 years have had temperatures this cold this late in terms of 20s for highs. Some of us were in the 30s today, but I mean, this is just, it's cold, but it's pretty rare cold. I mean, we're talking 20 to 25 degrees below average. So I don't see an air mass that brings this kind of cold air down this far south again this spring. However, we're not quite done with the cold yet, and we're not done with the snow yet. And we'll look about that in the forecast. We'll talk all about that. But I've got a nice warm up midweek. Okay, a couple things. Obviously, we have to thank our sponsors, Tiger Plumbing. They just signed on with us through August, which is just awesome. So they're going to be a household name, just like Grieger's is. But I just want to thank them, guys. If you have, it's not often you need a plumber. I know you know that, right? Plumbing's not something you're thinking about all the time, but you're usually thinking about it when there's a problem. So if you do have a problem, whether it be you're replacing some pump or a leak or whatever it is, contact Tiger Plumbing. It's tigerplumbing.net. They're out of the Highland area. They've been in the business over 30 years in Northwest Indiana. They're just wonderful folks. They really are. And they come out for free. They give you free estimates as well. They don't charge you for anything until they do the work. So good stuff. So please support them because they support me and keep this free for you. And obviously, so we can afford everything that we have here with all these fancy gadgets. Grieger's, Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Valparaiso. Pay them a visit as well. Support them if you need a new car or you just want to get in the conversation around perhaps a new Jeep for summer. Maybe you want to take the whole top of the Jeep off. My sister has one of those, and boy, it's just wonderful in the summertime. We're not there yet, I know, but you have to plan ahead. So support them if you can. A couple things we're going to do tonight. It's not real active weather. If we had active weather, we'll jump right in. But I am sitting on all these region weather T-shirts. I ordered way too many of them, which is totally fine because we've got time and region weather's not going anywhere. So Facebook is doing this thing with stars. All right. A lot of you have sent stars, and I appreciate that. You don't ever have to feel led to do that. But between now and the end of the month, all those that send stars, again, you don't have to, but this is how you'll throw your name in the bucket. I'm going to draw 3 names out of all the names from here to the end of the month, and we'll send you a free T-shirt. I've got a bumper sticker and a magnet. How exciting is that? Is that a ploy, right? So I've got all sorts of sizes here too, but my wife's like, what are you doing with that box of T-shirts? I said, babe, I'm going to have some kind of contest. So I wasn't sure what to do. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, let's jump into weather, shall we? It's cold now. It was cold today. We know that. When's the cold go away? Well, not tomorrow. This cold air mass that we have coming out of Canada is settling south right now. So the coldest part of this is actually setting in tonight and tomorrow. So we're going to have more sunshine tomorrow, which is great. But it's so hard to warm up when you have cold air straight out of Canada coming this far south. We call that CAA, or cold air advection, in the weather world. And when you have cold air advecting in, you basically don't warm up. So let's go through temps. What we're looking at are temperatures here. I'm going to go through time. I'm not going to go daily here. I want to show you kind of how the warming process occurs with the breathing earth as we talk about. So throughout the day tomorrow, here's your warm up towards the afternoon. I think we're going to struggle to get into the mid 30s tomorrow. It really is going to be a struggle. Some locations may not get out of the 20s. I tend to not believe that. And the reason why is we have a very strong March 28th sun that's going to be working on us. But who knows? It could be impressive. But you see some of the numbers tomorrow, generally low 30s tomorrow, 20s near the lakeshore. We have a little bit of snowpack out towards the east, not a lot from this. But look at the warm up down in Texas. They're in the 80s and 90s down there, right? So you know something's amiss. There's some kind of storm system that's getting going here. And that's exactly what we're going to see into the week. Another cold night tomorrow night. And then we start to talk this storm system. We've got, as we're looking ahead to this week, there's really one storm system that we're watching. There's going to be one weather player this week. It's an area low pressure that's come out of the plain states. It's going to hit California tonight. They need the rain. They haven't had a lot of rain in California since November, December. It's gone dry. So that system's going to come right across the Rockies. It's going to come out in the plains. And it's kind of similar to last week's. It's not going to stay nearly as long, but it's similar to last week in that it's going to tap into some Gulf of Mexico moisture. There's going to be a low pressure that goes essentially over northwest Indiana again. And we're going to have a severe weather outbreak, probably tornadoes. And I'm talking down to the south, not locally. I think we get some thunderstorms locally from this, but it's going to be another one of those weeks down in Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, where we have yet another probably tornado outbreak as this system's just coming across perfectly to set that up. So for us, we get a huge bump in temps. We're going to go from cold to warm, and that's what I want to show you first. But that's the system we're dealing with. And then on the backside, we get cooler again with, some rain and snow chances into the weekend. So here you go. Remember, tomorrow's cold. Tuesday's our bounce back day. We'll likely have sunshine to start, and then we'll increase the clouds as we go throughout the day Tuesday. Notice high temperatures edging towards 40. So it's not great, but it's not terrible, right? The warm air is still down to the south. Watch this. If you watch anything in this forecast, look at this warm up. We go from the 40s for highs on Tuesday. Tuesday night, we back down into the 30s briefly. Look at this push of warm air coming in with this system. Here's Wednesday morning. We're in the 50s. And then by afternoon, there you go. We've got high temperatures, mid 60s. I would probably make an argument. It depends on the rain on Wednesday, but I would make an argument we've probably reached mid and upper 60s. I know you're not seeing any of those numbers on here, but I would tend to bump that up, especially with the strong southerly wind we have. So Wednesday is going to be warm and spring-like. It's going to be such a turnaround from the last couple days and Monday, Tuesday. And then the system will go by. We'll have some showers and thunderstorms, which we'll take a look at in a second. But once the system goes by, we're back to the cool. We're not back to the cold. So here's Wednesday night. Temperatures starting to fall. It's nothing sharp. And then we have that sharp temp drop right there, which would be probably Thursday morning. Right now, it looks like 1 or 2 a.m. Thursday. So we'd stay mild in the 50s Wednesday evening. We'd have some rain and thunder around. And then once that wind shifts, boom, Thursday morning, we're back to the cold again coming off the lake. And you can see how that kind of dives in. And we kind of stay there as that system pushes east. Again, I don't see 20s and 30s for highs next weekend. Probably 30s and 40s as it looks right now. Maybe a little rain and snow. So what's this system look like in terms of the setup for it and all the precip around and all that good stuff? And I want to show you the severe setup as well, because that I think is going to be impressive in the plain states. So in terms of rainfall this week, no rain tomorrow. We're looking dry. I think we have lots of sunshine. Remember, it's a deceiving sunshine tomorrow, though. And then Tuesday, we feature increasing clouds. I think we'll get some rain late Tuesday. You can see the modeling here as we go through time. This is Tuesday morning. We're dry. And then this area of rain along the warm front kind of expands late Tuesday. So early Tuesday looks dry. Later in the day, probably afternoon and evening, we may have some thunderstorms develop with this warm front. There'll be a nice south wind. Temperatures are going to be trying to bump up, right? And then you can see as we go through time, that rain kind of clears. This right here in the modeling, I don't buy the rain here. I think we'll go dry after Tuesday night and Wednesday morning's rain goes by. I think we get a little dry slot in here where it actually warms up and it's pretty nice outside. I think the bulk of the rain will be west and north. Again, that's a meteorological take versus what I'm seeing in the modeling, because the modeling here shows just a washout all day Wednesday, right? This waves of rain. I think we'll get some dry hours in there. We'll see. But again, just from looking at this setup in the past, that's how I think it's going to play out. And then later Wednesday, we get a round of rain, probably some storms in here as well. You can see this first area of low pressure, it's off towards the north, kind of fades, and the second one takes hold right here. This would be a pretty significant round of some showers and thunderstorms, and that would be late Wednesday. And remember, that coincides with our temperature drop early Thursday. So the way Wednesday, I think, will play out, at least from my meteorological forecasting experience here, not saying it's accurate, just how my brain's working. I think we're going to start Wednesday likely with some showers, maybe a rumble of thunder very early in the morning. That's the warm front. I think that lifts north. I picture us drying out for a little bit during the day with a gusty wind, temperatures accelerating well into the 60s. And then later in the day, we deal with a round of showers and thunderstorms, whether that be afternoon and evening. Some of those could be on the strong side. I don't see a widespread severe weather outbreak locally, but we could see some gusty storms because that jet stream is going to be right over us. And then you can see after Wednesday goes around, we're dealing with this leftover rain, wet snow potential on Thursday that lingers in the Friday as this low kind of spins up. All right. A quick break from that. I saw Jan said she got her t-shirt. Jan, that's awesome. We've been sending those out. We're working with our supplier as well. They've been sending some out. I think they're out of North Carolina because I've ordered some t-shirts and one came from there. But Jan, give me feedback on the shirts. I've gotten good feedback so far on the sweatshirts and all that stuff. But if you are interested in ordering, this is our website. It's shopregionweather.com. Just for some fun stuff. I hope you're wearing your t-shirt, Jan. That way we all cuddle up and get through the weather. But shopregionweather.com. We're going to have a new line of products coming out next week. But right now it's the Region Weather stuff and the Great Lakes apparel right now. So if you need any of that, it's certainly there for you. Okay. All right. Let's talk jet stream as we go from there. So remember the severe thunderstorm warning that we had on Friday? It wasn't really a thunderstorm, right? We had graupel and snow falling within that and gusty winds. That was a lot of that was attributed to the strong jet stream we had up above us. So I'm always talking jet stream, jet stream. I wanted to show you the jet stream and how it works and what it looks like and why we pay attention to it sometimes and why you don't hear about it other times. So the jet stream is that strong flow of wind, upward jets fly, right? About 30,000 feet that encircles the globe. So it's going around the entire globe all the time. In some places it's strong, some places it's weak and not moving. That's when you have systems that, tend to not move or get stuck. But this is what pushes weather systems along. So when the jet stream's fast and there's an area of low pressure along it, that area of low pressure goes really fast. If there's an area where it's not flowing a whole lot, that pattern tends to stick. So as we look at the jet stream right now, you notice a couple features. You have this big, we call it a trough out west. It's the little dip that comes into California. That's on the leading edge of a storm system. You have this big ridge when it goes way up on the west coast. That's called a ridge. And underneath that, you tend to get warming and dry weather. That's why they're setting records out west, because this jet stream goes way up north. And then what goes north must come south. And so we get the cold air and the record cold in some spots out east. But look at how the jet stream, these reds indicate how fast that wind is. It's howling up above us right now, right? So it's very windy. If you go up in the atmosphere, the wind is screaming up there, 120, 140 miles per hour. As we go through time this week, we lose that strong jet. Here comes our system. Notice how it's troughs coming out in the plain states. This is our system that's coming out this week with that area of low pressure. This is what's concerning this week for severe weather. Not necessarily locally, but down towards the south. Look at this huge push of strong, strong wind on the order of probably 150 at times. We're talking miles per hour, not kilometers per hour, but a real strong gusty wind. I mean, incredible winds going from south to north with the jet stream there, okay? We're going to have wind at the surface down to our south coming from the southeast and the southwest as you get down towards Texas. There's going to be a tremendous amount of wind shear down in Missouri, Arkansas, Tennessee, Mississippi. And that's what causes the storms to spin when those two axes cross. So an incredible jet coming through this week. For us, this is going to bring the air straight out of the Gulf. So this is a warm air for us. That's why I think we'll hit mid to upper 60s on Wednesday. But look on the back side of it. This is our only warm up over the next 10 days as it looks right now, because our wind is tapping in from down to the south, right? As we go through time, the rest of this, look what happens this weekend. This is Friday. The wind is now coming. You can follow this line straight out of Canada again. And that jet stream is going to be howling as well. So that brings that colder air back in. And then as we go through time, you notice there's no real turn to the southwest. Our airflow continues out of the northwest to some capacity all the way through the next 10 days. And so what that means for us locally is that There's just not a big warm up in sight, and it looks like we're going to stay on the cool side. Look at this big jet streak coming in perhaps next week. It's due west, so that's north to west. And then look at this. This is a week from now. This is April 9th. You've got this flow still out of Canada. So there's no big warm up as the models are showing us all the way through maybe the middle of April as of right now. We'll get these little bumps here and there. But in terms of widespread 70s and 80s, which we can get this time of year, I just don't see it as of right now. And that's unfortunate because I know we all really, really want springtime temperatures around here. We're going to get a little taste on Wednesday, but that's really all I see in the extended forecast. There's going to be some nice days in there. It's not all 30s and 40s. We'll have some 50-degree days in there. We'll get some sunshine. But in terms of the big, robust warm-ups that I think a lot of us really like, I don't see them. And we'll keep an eye out for that. Trust me, I'm just like you are in terms of wanting that. So I will let you know the first time I see it. Okay? All right, let's answer your questions. We'll get you on your way here this Sunday evening. Again, I appreciate you guys joining us so much. I certainly appreciate that. If you have questions, if you're new to this, go ahead and put your question on Facebook or on our YouTube channel in the comments section. It'll pop up on my screen. Be happy to answer that for you. Then we'll get you on your way. Okay. Karen says, Karen says that she just got back from a week in Orlando. Now it's time for region weather. Yeah, Karen, how was Orlando? You were asking about the weather for that. I know it's cooler down there now. They've got this cold air all the way down into Florida. Cold by them. You know, they're in the 60s and 70s and they're freezing. So we'll see. Jacob asked a good question. How's the weekend looking for western UP of Michigan? Heard they were possibly dealing with a nasty snowstorm. Yeah, Jacob, there is going to be some snow in the northern end of this. Let me show you. I mean, you're looking at it right here. So let's look snowfall totals. This is going to be the system that we're getting. They're going to have a lot of snow up there. I don't think initially they'll have snow. I think they start as kind of a mix and rain before this, and then they change over to snow. But they're going to have some pretty decent totals. Yeah, so here's the Euro. This is all the way through Thursday. Here's the UP up here where my mouse is. So anywhere from 2 inches to maybe a half a foot. I could see that changing, though. They could get more depending on the track of that low. But, boy, it feels so nice to not have to deal with that and not have to predict where the track of the low is going to go because that's so crucial, right? You hear about it all the time. So, yeah, they're going to get some snow up there. You notice the snow up towards Minnesota as well. This is a snowy season for them. And March is actually Denver, Colorado's snowiest month as well. So don't be surprised if they get more snow out there. Elijah says, we didn't really get any storms last year. I'm sure it's way too early to predict, but what are you seeing this year for severe weather? It is too early to predict, Elijah. I mean, we can have our guesses at it. We've got a very weak La Nina right now. And, you know, the thing is with La Ninas and El Ninos, I've never thought it matters because there's so many other variables that go into it. That's why you say it's a La Nina winter. That means it's warmer. But then you have like a blocking pattern out east and it changes everything. So there's so many other variables that go into it. So in terms of this severe weather season, there are signs. We can look at some patterns that do indicate we're going to have a pretty active severe weather season. Does that translate here to the region? That doesn't mean that. But somewhere in the plain states, we're going to have a parade of storm systems as it looks right now, very similar to this week's. The pattern that we have this week looks to remain pretty steady over the next at least 15 days or so, which brings the storm system in. You have severe weather on the front end of it. So things are trending to be a more active season. Tornado numbers have been down last couple of years, but I do think we kind of return to that activity again this season as it looks right now. So, and we're better prepared than ever here at Region Weather. I've got different software now that we're using to keep you guys informed of severe weather. So bring it on, right? I'm ready to go. But I want you to know, like, I'm ready for it. So you guys are going to stay safe during this whole entire severe weather season because we're going to be on it. Okay. So good to know. Deb, zip hoodies. I can add that for sure. I'll talk to our supplier about that. I'm sure they have some. I didn't want to overwhelm with too much, but so add zip hoodies. I'll look into it for sure, Deb. Thanks for that. Maxwell, there are going to be strong winds with this system. If the low passes right over us, the difference is when the low passes over you, you don't get the strong wind. You get the part where all the wind is gushing into, which is really interesting. But you can see the wind from this. This is what you're looking for here are the isobars. Those are the black lines that you see on the screen. So our initial hit from the storm is going to bring southerly winds in. That's how we warm up Wednesday. So pretty gusty, probably 15 to 25 on Wednesday, maybe to 30. And then you can see the low, if it passes right over us, there's not a lot of wind to deal with. The wind is east, the wind is west, the wind is north and south. But once that low goes by on into next weekend, it looks to be windy from the northwest. This is Thursday, Friday. We'll probably have gusty winds with that. As of right now, though, Maxwell, this does not look to be as gusty as the one we just had. So probably, as of right now, just eyeballing it, probably 15 to 25 mile per hour winds, maybe some strong gusts as well. Kristen's telling Lisa to go to bed. That's great. Yeah, Andrew's happy with sunny and 50s. I mean, that's what spring is, right? 50-degree weather. We don't always have to get the warm stuff for sure. Tom, that's a good question. Will the storms to the south rob moisture from our Wednesday rain? Tom, that's a wonderful question. That happens a lot. What Tom's referring to is you'll get these thunderstorms, and this happens a lot of times when perhaps we're going to get a severe weather outbreak or there's one predicted. You'd expect a lot of moisture right here over the region, and you'll get a cluster of storms or a line of storms down towards the southern plains or the Mississippi Valley that basically the storms are moving like this down in Mississippi, and the Gulf of Mexico air, which is trying to get up towards Indiana, gets stopped by these storms, and it essentially cuts off Gulf of Mexico moisture for a couple hours until it passes. Tom, I don't see that happening with this storm system because I'm not expecting a cluster of storms down south to develop. It'll be more of a squall line that we would get the northern tip of that. What's interesting in the modeling is the secondary area of low pressure is developed. Before it was just one low that came through. Now the models pretty much have that first low that comes through and dies out, and then we get the second more robust low here. So that's an interesting trend. If this trend's a little bit further northward, that puts us firmly in the warm sector Wednesday night or Wednesday afternoon, and that would bring a severe weather threat locally. So that's something I'll be watching this week. But to answer your question, I don't really buy at least with this setup, that any storms down south would rob us of moisture. I think we'll get a pretty good hit of some rain in here. Deshaun, you're welcome. I appreciate you. Thank you, buddy. Mark knows what's up. Yep, we're on vacation starting today. I had to work this morning. I was up, 3 a.m. Sunday, and I'm really tired, but I'm excited because we're on vacation this week. So no region weather live on Wednesday. We're taking our kids somewhere, which is exciting. We're going to a water park. We're going to try. Got a 6'2", 4 and 2-year-old, or actually 6'3" and 1-year-old. I forget, they're not quite changed yet. So that'll be fun. So say a prayer, please. Ooh, umbrellas, no shovels, and car ice scrapers. Erica, I don't know if I want to associate region weather with the bad side of things. I'll look into it, though. I like the umbrella idea for sure. I appreciate that. Oh, Jerry, no problem. Jerry just hopped on. We'll review. I'm getting a little behind on comments. Jerry, so this week's storm recap, tomorrow's dry and cold. Tuesday, we'll have increasing clouds. I think we could see some late day thunderstorms as a warm front comes in. I could foresee Tuesday evening us being in the 40s and having some elevated thunderstorms as that warm front moves in. Wednesday, we warm up. I think we'll get a couple dry hours in there where it's nice. We should be well into the 60s for highs. It'll be breezy. Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday evening, we're going to have to watch for not just a thunderstorm threat, but we'll have to watch the track of this low to see if any of those can get stronger. But I do think we have rain and storms in the forecast almost as a guarantee late Wednesday into Thursday. Gets colder behind that. We deal with some rain and snow mixed on into the weekend. So that's what we're going on. Oh, Diana, rain and freezing for my concert Friday night. It's going to be chilly, Diana. I'm sorry. Hopefully we get the rain out of here. As of right now, it looks like we're going to have rain and snow on radar and kind of blustery for sure. Kristen, awesome with the hoodies for sure. Hi, Tammy. Thanks for joining us. Maxwell, no problem, buddy. Emily says, what will the weather be like driving during the day Friday, making a trip up to Wisconsin for the weekend? Well, let's show you. Let's go ahead to the models on Friday. So this one only goes through Thursday. So let's switch to the 12Z, which will get us there. It's just a little bit older data. It should still be just as accurate. So here's Thursday. Here's our system coming in. It's going to take just a hot second to load here. I think rain and snow on your trip up there, just Emily, as a kind of what we think is going to happen. Yeah, here you go. So here's Friday. This is Friday morning. System should be moving out, but there's a secondary load that just brings us rain and snow sludge in here. So there you go. That's Friday morning. Snow showers. Doesn't look to be too bad. Shouldn't be anything too bad. And then it all clears out as it looks with a west to east lake effect. How about that? That's going to be unique. But things should be clearing out. It's going to be pretty cold, though, as it looks right now. You guys are funny. Lisa, go to bed. You got to go to bed, Lisa. Already? Like what, 8:40? David's going to Wisconsin Dells. Awesome, David. That's fun. Hopefully you're going. Well, I guess it doesn't matter if you're going to the Dells. Doesn't matter when you go. You can go year round. But yeah, it should be colder this weekend if you're heading this weekend though, for sure. Okay. You guys are awesome. Emily, you're welcome. All right, family. We're gonna let you go. Okay. Hopefully that helps get you through your week. Know what to expect weather-wise. I always like to comment on what things you'll see change on your weather app this week. And what we need to watch for to change in your weather app is that late week pattern. So Thursday, Friday, what happens with the cold? And then does our severe weather potential ramp up on Thursday afternoon, evening? That's something I'll be watching personally. So other than that, I think forecast is pretty set in stone. There's a lot of agreement in the models. So hopefully you won't see a lot of changes and all that. Okay. All right. Thanks so much for joining us. Again, we don't have a region weather live Wednesday night. We'll still have posts for you though, so you'll know what's going on weather wise. What's interesting is, and I just put two and two together. If we have a severe weather threat Wednesday night, I'm going to be on vacation somewhere, and I don't want to leave you hanging on that. So that'll be interesting. Well, I'll have some posts if necessary, but we'll know what's going on Tuesday heading into that. So have no fear. We'll keep you covered somehow. Okay. All right. Thanks for joining us, guys. Get some sleep, Lisa. Go to bed. Tart cherry juice, then go to bed. Okay. All right. Thank you, Linda. I appreciate that. All right. Bye, guys.